Okay, hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video for a side-by-side comparison of my two travel backpacks that I primarily use. This one is the Osprey Porter 46, and this is the Patagonia MLC 45 liter. Even though this one is technically 46 and this one's 45, trust me, they both hold the same amount of stuff. So in terms of size comparison, it doesn't really matter what the size is. They both hold roughly the same amount of stuff. Now, the one of my preference is the Porter 46, and there's really only a couple things that stand out about this one that kind of beat the MLC, but it doesn't mean that I never use this, and it doesn't mean that this one isn't better with some respects. It's just that this one, for me, typically works a little bit better because of one major thing, and that is this front pocket that I use for toiletries. This is a waterproof pocket, and it's really nice for storing your toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that, a bottle of shaving cream, or whatever else. And I've never had any issues with this leaking into my main compartment. I've had a couple slight blowouts, nothing too extreme, but I've never had any issues with that getting into the main compartment. Now here on the MLC, there's really no good spot to put your toiletries, especially with ease of access. Now, really your option, I think what the bag, they do intend on doing this, and I could be wrong, but really you're stuck with putting your toiletries kind of in this front compartment, and it works for your toothbrushes, even some toothpaste and things like that. However, a can of shaving cream or a can of hairspray, a bottle of hair gel, or even a sunscreen, anything like that, really starts when you pack this thing full and you put those things on the exterior right here, it really starts to protrude out. And if you're handling your bag a little rough, or if you have to entrust someone else to handle your bag, you can't necessarily guarantee that anything is going to smack up against this, or something could break or bust. And I'm not sure if this is a waterproof compartment or not, but either way, there's not a lot of protection. This is a canvas style top. Not that this top is too much better, but it does kind of hide your toiletries into this area. Now, where the Patagonia really succeeds that the Porter 46 does not is it just looks better, and that actually does make a pretty big difference. Now, if you're traveling for business or anything like that, and you still want to use a backpack rather than some sort of a rolly situation, you show up on your way to the airport or immediately after the airport, you've got something like this. It looks pretty clean cut. You could definitely get away with it without having, some of your clients or something ask, some questions. Where this, it really makes you look like more of a tourist. Not that that's always a bad thing, but definitely doesn't make you look too inconspicuous. You have all these things hanging off, and there are ways of tucking them in, but it just doesn't look all that good. Now, this one's about 10 years old. I'm sure that the updated version has a few more bells and whistles that this one doesn't, but for the most part, it's the same. Now, this one, the MLC, is about 3 or 4 years old, and I don't actually think that they make this version anymore. I think that they are only making, don't quote me on this, but I think that they're only making what they call the black hole version, and that has more of a latex pleather style coating, where this is more of a canvas situation. And I think this one, it appears to be a little bit lighter, but I can't make any guarantees. I'm sure that there's a reason that Patagonia has gone for that. Like I said, they both hold about the same amount of stuff. I do use this one. Sometimes I do find myself using this one a lot more. You can tell it's definitely been beaten down a little bit more. I've even got my name spray painted on it for identification purpose. Now, if you flip these over, here's the back of each. They're about the same. Comfort level of using these is about the same. I've never had I can't notice any major comfort differences, I will say that this one has an optional hip belt. Hip belts are not my thing. I have it tucked in. I think that a hip belt just makes you look way more like a tourist than necessary. I don't. This one might have one that was an option that it came with that I probably tossed or something like that. I'm not sure what the situation was. I'm sure that you can outfit it somehow with a hip belt, but it doesn't have it. Both these have options of tucking these straps in. These straps are a little bit bigger. Like I said, I've never really noticed any comfort differences, but these straps are bigger and seem to be more hefty. Now, I have packed this thing very heavy before and never had any issues with ripping or anything like that. And I'm sure that Patagonia would refund you or something along those lines if you did have any of these that ripped. Now let's go ahead and open these up. These are about, like I said, they hold the same amount of stuff. In each of these, I've got a pillow and one set of bed sheets. Just kind of give an example of what it looks like, what they look like when they're open, or when they're fully loaded. This is the main compartment. Now they do the Patagonia does stay open. I've never really considered that like a deciding factor, something that really sets it apart, but it does stay open. That may be something that's more important for you. This kind of stays relatively flimsy. I'm not exactly sure what the weights are. The Patagonia might be a little bit lighter, nothing major. By the time you accept that you are actually carrying this stuff on your back, rather than, I've got a, by the time you accept that you're actually carrying this stuff on your back rather than wheeling it around, a pound or two shouldn't make too much of a difference. This little net thing in the front, I've never used it before. Maybe I'll end up cutting it out eventually. But here's the compartment. It might look bigger than this one. However, it's not necessarily that much bigger. They hold the same. And now, one thing is this is a lot more square and rectangular, and it does fit into compartments such as on airplanes or under the seat, whatever, a lot better than this one. This one is more of a oval kind of turtleback kind of a thing, where this one definitely sets a little bit more square whenever you're stowing it around. So they're both great backpacks. Definitely recommend both. I believe that this one is in the black whole versions. I believe that this one's about $200, which might, in my opinion, might be a little bit overpriced. I think I got this one for about $119. I definitely recommend it for that price. This one today is going for right around $130, $140. I bought it about 10 years ago for, I think, $100 even. And I'll link both of these below. I'm not sure if I can find a link for this one. If not, I'll link the one for the black hole version. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You guys have a good day. Take care.